Hello BookTube, my name is Kate and this is my channel chaptercviii, and it's time to talk pins. So last year I had some BookTube pins made prior to BookCon. They looked like this. So it's just a little book with a little YouTube play button and the year on it, that's all. And I got them made prior to BookCon last year, and the reasoning for that was because I felt the book community needed something to kind of make us feel together and make us feel united and make us feel like we were a part of the actual community. Something physical to hold on to and just say, yes, I'm part of this community. I thought it was really cool at BookCon to see people wearing the pins, because then you could see a booktuber and know, hey, that's a booktuber, that's a person that does what I do. And it just turned into a really cool experience. And then at the following events that I went to throughout the year, book events, I could tell if someone was a booktuber or not because they would have a pin on. And that was the reason that I made these things, is because I wanted people to be able to see booktubers and recognize them as part of the community. It can also serve as a really cool icebreaker for booktubers that don't know each other. I also hosted a meetup at BookCon. This was the day prior to BookCon and the last day of BEA, so that way most people were sort of in town that were going to be in town. And the whole point of the meetup was to give out these pins and then also to talk with the other booktubers before BookCon, because BookCon can be very overwhelming, and you're trying to get pictures with everybody and you feel kind of nervous going in, and it's just, ugh. And it was my first year too, so I was already kind of overwhelmed, so I'm like, let's just get everybody together and, you know, meet each other, see each other's faces, mess up everybody's name here and there because I can't recognize people off screen. But it was great. People brought snacks. I had a live stream going throughout the whole thing, so that way people could pop in that weren't able to make it to the meetup, and then we could also say hi to everybody. And also now we have video evidence that it all happened and it wasn't just a dream. We also took some great group photos. We actually ended up taking 2 group photos, and the reason for that is we took one kind of early in the meetup, and then some of those people left and more people showed up, so we took a second photo. And so this year I'm going to kind of assign a time during the meetup that's going to be the photo time, so that way hopefully everybody can be there at the same time for the photo. And in addition to that, we also had a book swap. So a lot of people that went to BEA and had arcs that they may not have wanted kind of brought them to the book swap, and then a lot of people just brought other books that they were trying to get rid of or books that they had bought in town, and we did a big book swap and it was fun. I think most of my books from BookCon were actually from the book swap and not from BookCon itself. So the hope this year is that we can find a location for the meetup that's not quite as noisy, because last year's meetup, it got kind of noisy. It was in a rehearsal space, and most of the rentable spaces that I found in New York are that sort of space, and those kind of spaces just reflect sound really bad and it can be very overwhelming. So I'm hoping to find a place that's not quite as boomy. Last year I had 2 separate GoFundMes. One was specifically for pins and one was specifically for the meetup. The issue with GoFundMe is that a percentage is taken out of it, and it's also just a little bit difficult to keep up with the way it is sort of structured. So this year what I'm going to do is I created 2 PayPal pools. So it's PayPal, but it specifically has like a pool of money for specific causes. So I have 2 PayPal pools. That's a lot to say at once, a lot of but one pool is specifically for the pins and one pool is specifically for the meetup. That way, if you want a pin but you're not going to be there at the meetup, you're not, you know, being asked to pay for both. But it allows you to donate to both if you would like. I'm not setting a specific price for the pins or the meetup because some people are able to pay more, some people are able to pay less, and I want it to be open to as many people as possible, because community should not be, you know, exclusive to those that can afford specific things. I think that's dumb. So for the pins themselves, I'm trying to reach $500. Last year it cost, I believe,
$453.
And that was with shipping, trying to get it here on time, and that was also with 300 pins. And then the second fund is for the meetup itself. Last year I believe I paid
$120.
and that was only 2 hours. This year I was really hoping to get a meetup space for maybe 3 hours. That way we could have a little bit more time, and also I can set some things up prior to the actual time. And then also looking at places, a lot of the places that would be a little bit better sound-wise and a little bit better space-wise cost a little bit more money, and a lot of them have like a minimum time rented requirement of 3 hours at least, so that ends up being a little bit more. The place that I rent for the meetup is going to depend on how much money we can raise for the meetup. The place I rented last year is around the same price. It was sort of big enough for how many people we had, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more space, and it would have been nice to have a place that wasn't so loud, because the way it was made, it just echoed too much. So this year I'm trying to find a place that might be a little bit bigger and maybe a little less noisy the way it's made, but with that it's going to come more money. So if we can only raise maybe $100, it's going to be the same place as last year, whereas if we raise anywhere from like $200 to $400, that opens up a whole new set of possibilities for where we might be able to go. Now, if I happen to find a place that meets our needs but is less than the amount that we have raised, then the extra money will go towards something like a photo booth or something like snacks, depending on how much money there is. Last year, we were able to cover the cost of the pins and the meetup, and it was amazing. None of this money goes to me. It all goes towards covering pins and covering meetup costs. And that's why I did it on a pool this time. That way you could see how much money is being raised, and it could be very transparent that way. Also, we had several people that were very concerned because they wanted a pin, but they didn't think that they would be able to make any of the meetups. And so what I did to those people is I had them, message me, and I sent them pins out. I also posted a request form probably November, December, and I tried to send out as many pins as I could to those people. If you turned in a request, though, near the middle or end of December, I may not have sent it out yet because holidays was a little much for me. Whoa. So now is the moment you have all been waiting for, and I hope you don't hate it. And that is the 2020 BookTube enamel pin color reveal. Here it is.
Yay!
So I really hope you like the pin color. I wanted to go with kind of indigo, and my reasoning for that was a lot of things. I considered a lot of options and a lot of combinations with our previous red pin because I know people will be wearing them together. But I tried to take a lot of things into consideration. I actually narrowed it down to 2 specific colors, and then I thought I had decided on this one, and then I kind of went to the other one, and then I thought more about the meaning, and I went back to this one. And now this one kind of feels right. The color of indigo represents wisdom, intuition, justice, and fairness. I hope that these ideals will be at the forefront of our contributions to this community, to the book community, our community. All we have is what we put out there, so I definitely think we need to make that count. And that is all for my video today. I really hope you liked this video. I hope you liked the pin color. If you want to donate to get a pin, if you want to donate towards the meetup, you will find the links to that in the description of this video. And the link to the BookTube Enamel Pins Twitter account will also be in the description because that's the easiest way to get in touch with all y'all when things happen. Last year, we had the meetup, and then all of a sudden they told us that there's a building code, so I had to try to get that to everybody, but it was very difficult. So this year I have a Twitter account. Make sure you follow it if you're going to the meetup or if you're expecting pins, because that's where you're going to find all of our updates that I can't get on my channel. But yes, the link to the money pools will be in the description below. Once we have enough money and we've made a reservation for a meetup place, I will make sure to put an RSVP form out there, so that way we know how many people are coming and if we need to tweak any of the arrangements or anything like that. But yes, I hope you like the color of the pin. If you really want to make sure you get all the updates, make sure you follow the Twitter, follow my Twitter, follow this channel. You obviously don't have to, not trying to pressure you, but it's the best way to stay in touch and stay up to date. And if you would like more of this junk, or if you would like more of other types of videos that are not announcements, please subscribe below. Bye! Tripping over shadows and I'm drowning in the night. I feel the soldiers coming, I'm done putting up a fight. I feel my